Okay. It seems we are live. I'll get the sound back on. So, hi everyone. We've got a full team already. So we
Hello, and I promise to say Randolph is waiting in the wings as well.
I know Randolph is waiting in the wings. So yeah, we'll let's introduce people first. So on the bottom, I'll start at the left. Erica, welcome back. Erica
Thanks.
was our former guest. Oh, Gary dropped off. So
Yeah.
there we go. Erica,
Hello.
good to see you back. Then we've got Ryan B. I don't think I've ever met you.
Yeah, not in person. I guess we've never, maybe just on Discord, maybe once or twice.
Ah,
Back
okay.
in the day.
Well, good to see you. And Randolph, as always, great to see you.
Hey, it's a pleasure, Peter. Good to see you.
Gary
I
just got
don't
back.
know the other three.
Gary just got back. I will rotate, and if necessary, I will drop off to let other people take my place. So, Robert, basically this was your show, so you get to.
You forgot to mention I'm Lilith, the guy who kicked Creepy.
Does anyone need to mention who you are? I mean, don't they know by now?
Darling, simply because my exquisite excellence eclipses the sun does not mean you should neglect.
What I do want to say again is that you hid him from the channel, and
Yeah.
and
Oh.
on our
Thank
channel
you for taking the trash out.
our voices are equal. So if he wants to
I know.
take it up with anyone to get back and being able to post comments, he needs to take it up with Lilith.
I'm going to require a picture that he's actually not white.
He's on Twitter. He's on Twitter. He'll
Not
probably
sure
know where to find you. So it's not that hard. It's not that it's not on the bottom right here, where people can see all the Twitter handles. So it should be really easy to find you. So, no, welcome everyone. So who's first? Who's got a question or a remark, or who wants to condemn us for anything we did? I mean,
Or didn't do.
now's the time.
Well, I'll start off and I'll say thank you for everyone who took time out to listen, because, like I said, this is, and never mind the Jack Russell whose ass is sitting right here in front of the fucking camera. These are the conversations that need to be had. I've told Peter and Lilith this. I hope you. No movement gains traction literally until its antithesis joins in. And so when people take their time out to listen to this, all I can say is thank you, because this is a real fucked up ass topic. I'm the only person living in Texas right now. There was that Amber Geiger rule that was instated. Amber Geiger was the cop who broke in and murdered both on John. And I had this discussion with someone that I was with on Monday. She was perplexed. It's like, why do we need this? It's no different than the hate crime laws. Because when you killed a gay person, you get a slap on the wrist. So we needed a special law down here in Texas to say, when you take a shovel handle and you shove it up their ass until they die while you call them fucking faggots, we're going to put you in jail for that. Whereas before the law was instituted, they're like, I was just a faggot. It's okay. Pick up some trash on the side of the road and you'll be okay. We now in Texas have the Amber Geiger law, to where if you're a cop, we don't care how tired you are. When you break into a black man's apartment and shoot him, you're going to be tried just as if you were black. breaking into a white person's apartment. And so, really long story short, these are really uncomfortable conversations. And everyone who hung in to the very end, I say thank you, because this is a fucked up ass topic that people who look like me have to actually ask for equal rights under the law. Right? I've got a lady to my right. I've got a Hispanic lady down. Oh, we are in a fucked up. Okay, sorry, man. So we're in this fucked up ass class to where we actually have to make special rules to where if you hurt someone, at least in Texas, who isn't part of this class, we have to make rules that say, oh yeah, by the way, that's against the law.
It's still not okay.
Right. If you hurt a woman, if you hurt a Mexican person, if you hurt a black person. So again, I would love to hear y'all's input. I just want to say thank y'all, because this is a real fucked up ass time.
I think
Randolph? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's just Bubba is now wanting to get in the game. So y'all go ahead.
I think it's real important to push the human rights angle, because international human rights state all people are equal, regardless of sex, race, or anything else. And if you can turn these things into human rights violations, it makes them even more serious. Always do that.
Right.
Absolutely. I as part of a job fair in Canada, years ago when I was in high school, I spoke to a Canadian lawyer, and he said that because Canadian law is actually, it's like a stack of books this wide, whereas American law is like 17 bookshelves. Because Canada will say thou shalt not kill, and America will say thou shalt not kill with a knife, thou shalt not kill with a gun, thou shalt not kill with a rope, thou shalt not kill with poison, thou shalt not kill with a toxin which is not technically a poison, etc., 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 because everything has to be spelled out. The fact that people are people, I'm disturbed by the fact that this needs to be spelled out. You and I have talked about this, Robert.
Yeah.
I know I'm not, but sometimes I feel like the only white person who knew black people were being killed before George Floyd. Like, right. Why? Why is it so hard to notice this? Every black comedian since the dawn of television has been talking about this constantly. You don't get a reaction that reliably on something that's total bullshit from an entire demographic for decades on end from different people. Why? Why do people not see this?
What's that, Ryan?
I said cognitive dissonance. I mean, I don't know. They know. It's just, like you were saying earlier, they're either ignorant of it or in denial of it.
No, they're just racist.
Or that
too. Rob, I think people should be thanking you for coming out here and putting your thoughts out here.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
It's important.
And that's one of the reasons I wanted to get in here to thank you for doing what you do, because I have a similar background. I'm a martial artist too, so I think, and I like the self-defense type of martial artist. So I think that I can relate a lot with like your ethic, I think, and the way you empathize with people, because I think when you become a martial artist, like you reach a level, you understand how fragile humans are. It makes you value them more. That sort of thing.
Yep. Are you? My specialty is knife fighting and kempo. What are you?
I started off. I grew up doing jiu-jitsu as a kid, and then I trained in kung fu for a while, and then I lived in Korea, and I have a black belt in Hapkido from over there.
Holy shit! Well, one, respect, and I asked about the kempo because there's a saying in kempo. Can y'all see my fucking dog?
We're having
just never mind my important message. Just Papa just gonna say, hold on.
We're hearing you. We're seeing your dog, and we're hearing you.
So, I asked about the kempo because there's a saying in kempo that says you cannot administer pain until you first experience it.
Right.
Right. I can't teach my students how far to take an eye gouge, an arm bar, or anything until I've experienced it first. And so, because I know what that pain feels like, I don't want to put that on anybody else.
Yeah, you learn restraint.
Artist, you understand what pain feels like, and you don't want other people to feel it. And so, I don't know what it's like. Like, I would never. I've never been Hispanic,
right,
in my life. My best friend from my childhood is Hispanic. I don't know what it feels like to be called a wetback, but I know what pain feels like, and I would never want to put that on someone else because I know what nigger feels like. I know what an armbar feels like. I actually had a jiu-jitsu guy take an armbar 1 inch too far. Everyone in the class heard my elbow snap.
Yeah.
And we both were like, okay, now we know. And hold on, I'm so bad at this pointing shit. It's my right elbow. He took it 1 point before it was a dislocation.
Okay, when I get down there, you're going to teach me how to kill people because of Texas, and I will need to know that.
Well, see, that's the thing. You don't have to kill them. You can defend yourself without having to kill someone.
Right.
Hopefully.
But
darling, Ryan, some things are worse than death, and I would do those things.
When I was teaching martial arts, I taught the students the most important thing is to run away if you can.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. All right, so hold on. We got 3. Papa, get your ass down. So hold on. So there's 3 martial artists in this class right now. And so I've told, when I do my seminars, not my one-on-ones, I tell my ladies, sometimes track and field is the best form of self-defense. Because if you can look behind you and you see nothing but open grass, you run.
Yeah.
So exactly. Fuck judo, jiu-jitsu, kempo, hapkido. If you can run away, that is the best. Run till daylight. Find someone that can help you. That's exactly what I've told those ladies. Fuck all the technique. If you can turn around and run away from the guy or girl, get the fuck away. And
I tell people the same thing. It's like if you feel the temperature going sour in the room, get out of the room. You know, if you're at a bar and you see someone getting pissed off and they're about to start some shit, walk away, dude. Leave the bar.
Not everybody knows when it's time to leave the bar, though.
We're gonna add everybody in.
Or they follow you outside anyway.
I'm having a martial arts moment right now. So Ryan, I've said the exact same thing, just in different terms. It's like, if you're walking north and someone's walking south, and the hair on your back is starting to stand up, cross the street. And if the worst thing someone can say, and I refuse to teach men self-defense. I tried it one time. It was a clusterfuck. So I only teach women. And so I tell the ladies, if you see...
I can relate.
That's what I'm saying. We got 3 martial artists. This is great. Just cross the street. And if the worst thing that happens to you is someone says, oh, what a fucking bitch. You've had a good day. You've had a great day. Because if you don't follow that instinct, again, we got 3
more. The guy who calls you a bitch for crossing the street is a piece of shit anyway, and you should cross the street because fuck him.
I had that experience, and I laughed my monkey ass off. And I remember I called my stopwatch Mjolnir, and I told, because I time, my sessions, and it's like, okay, you got 2 minutes to get off the mat. You got 2 minutes to break this lock. You got 2 minutes to break the choke, whatever. And I remember I was like, hey, I forgot Mjolnir in the car. And as I'm walking to my car, and again, just so if y'all haven't seen me, I'm 6'3". I'm not small. And as I'm walking to my car, there's a lady walking towards me. And I lie to you not. She's got her purse on this side, and she sees me. She turns her purse, puts it on the other side, and she gets on the sidewalk. And at first I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not going to hurt you. And then I laughed. because I was like, that's exactly what I teach people. She doesn't know me. All
You can't
she
be mad
saw
at her
is what
for
she
being
saw.
smart.
And I laughed. I was
And
like, you know what? Good for you.
And this is why it's so important to cross the street and try to be preventive and avoid things. When I was a little kid, I got stabbed by a mugger here. The scar doesn't show up on the camera, but I had empty pockets and they wanted all my money, so they stabbed me. And I had a little scuffle with them, and then I ran off. And when I looked back over my shoulder, their friend was coming out of the bushes to help them.
Oh
Jesus.
shit!
I got one quick
Good
question.
thing you ran.
That's
Jesus.
right.
I got one quick question. Erica, do you have headphones?
I was about to say,
Yep.
But
I need to hear from E.
yeah, we're getting some feedback from your sounds, and I think you're
Okay, 1 second. Sorry about that.
Yeah, Rob. I feel
You know,
like
Did she die?
Oh,
No,
E, where are you?
she'll be
looking
back.
for
I think she just dropped it. You can see the light on the top of it.
There
It's
she
fine.
is.
Okay, that's
I
not the
think
light at
it's-
the end of her tunnel. Okay.
Erica's bringing bringing
Don't
us
go
to the light.
towards the light.
What? Okay, the noise better
Watch
now?
this part later. You'll laugh.
Okay,
well,
guys, I'm going to drop out a little. Gary's here, so I'm going to bring Gary in.
Bring Gary in. Hold on, I'm responding to my mom, so you guys keep going.
Okay.
Well, this is the problem. I mean, this is about race, or at least the show initially is about race, and we're mostly all white people. I mean, except for Robert, he is obviously black.
And I'm almost transparent.
What? I'm black?
Well, that's true.
I didn't
You're actually
know that.
you're like
like what?
albino.
I mean,
Hey!
when I
Someone
lived
to
in
take
I
the
lived in
title from me
Asia.
of the whitest white person who ever whited.
White it.
When I lived in Asia, people wouldn't sit next to me on the subway when it was full, or wouldn't get in the elevator with me and stuff like that. But I mean, that was to me. I was like, okay, I'm experiencing what it's like to be a minority, but just I can imagine just in the smallest detail compared to what like someone like a black person feels like, you know. Because I would walk around with my black friends in Korea too, and some of the bars wouldn't even let us in. Stuff like that. Yeah,
Weird.
that's fucked up.
Because the difficulty thing is, it's sort of, it's hard to tell people's motivations, and it's too easy to read it one way or the other. I remember Christopher Hitchens would often talk about when, oh God, who's that god awful Catholic bastard? I forgot his name. He
The Pope?
Dennis Prager.
Oh, Prager.
No, it was Dennis Prager had
He's like
Can you
Jewish.
say that
he had
again?
said to. Sorry.
Dennis
I didn't
Prager.
hear the name.
Oh, Dennis Prager had
Dennis Prager.
asked Christopher Hitchens, you know,
Dennis
if
Prager.
he had
Okay.
Prager, yeah, Prager, the bad YouTube channel that wants
That
to pretend
creep.
it's a university. Yeah, that creep. He had asked if Christopher Hitchens would be more comfortable or less comfortable meeting a group of men at night if he knew that he'd been coming from a religious observance, and he always compared that.
Okay, I wondered where.
Yeah,
that
he always compared that to a time when he had been asked what he considered a slightly more searching question over whether or not, if, you know, at nighttime in a dark subway station or something, a group of black men appeared, whether he would move closer, further away, what it was. And I remember thinking, you know, if I was asked that, I would want more information, because like, as a woman, a group of men, you're always on the alert. They're not necessarily bad, but you need to pay attention.
But there's
So,
always the
you
one
know, then you're
douchebag.
going,
Yeah.
exactly. But then you're like, okay, what is their demeanor? What is their age? What are they wearing? Peter, I can hear you typing. Like, what's their attitude?
You can't hear me typing because
Yeah, it's just
my microphone
That's
is
typing.
muted.
It sounds like a
There's
cat
so
eating
much-
dry cat food.
I'm muted. You can't hear anything.
I have a cat who occasionally eats dry cat food, and that's not the same.
Okay. Comes through
She
differently
actually-
in my system.
It's cute. She eats treats off my nose. It's really cute. But as like we've talked about the difference between being Black and being a white woman and the different kinds of things that we deal with. And I mean, only a Black woman truly has both of those sides of the fuck the system, seriously.
I just checked.
And that's your
I guess
Candace
it's
Owens.
just-
Hold on, Lilith. I just checked.
What's that, E?
Sorry?
Gary, can
And that's
can,
your Candace Owens or whatever her name is.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Candace.
Oh,
Still out, right?
that
I know.
bitch.
Oh,
Ah.
Peter, can you hear me? Because if not,
Auntie Tom.
I can hear you.
okay, I just need to put this out there. If we do another show or 2 or 3, we need to do a show on what I call the super coons.
Yeah, Candace Owens.
Jesse Lee Peterson, the Hodge twins,
Oh,
Diamond.
hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, the
Jesse
problem
Lee
is,
Peterson is just out of his goddamn
hold on.
mind.
so
He
hold
made
on.
Ray Comfort look smart.
So hold on.
Ray goddamn
Gary
Comfort.
underneath me?
Yeah, that's scary. Yeah.
Banana Man.
What were you about to say?
Banana Man.
Great
I was
comfort.
going to say, I actually went to a Black Lives Matter march in Manchester, actually. And it was very
cool.
interesting because like Manchester is a very crime-ridden city, and like the it's very segregated in a way because again there are Black people all over Manchester, but they tend to be in certain parts of it. So it's very eye-opening when you hear them speak about their experience, like they've been stopped on the street, or like, for example, there's a lot of gang crime in the very heavily Black areas because a lot of them come from like Bahamas and stuff like that, where there's been like civil war going on for a while, so they bring that with them. And it's quite interesting when you hear like, you know, that basically they brought a war with them, and they say, there's one guy talking about his past and stuff like that. So it's really interesting hearing that sort of thing. So I think environment does have a part for it, and I do think that a lot of people, because to be honest, I was furious when I saw the video, the George Floyd video, because the other day, he's a police officer, leaning on somebody's neck for 8 minutes when literally the guy's crying out for his mother. I mean, like,
Begging,
No,
for his life.
Disgusting. Yeah.
so I'd be like,
It's absolutely disgusting.
Because the thing is, it's like, because I saw every single flaming person of my ethnicity give apologies. Well, he had this medical condition, give you that medical condition, and give you this medical condition. I'm like going, well, hang on a second. I don't care what medical condition you have. Having a large, like, I don't know how much that guy weighed, but I'm gonna estimate about 200-pound man. Putting all his weight onto your neck is not going to be a good thing to have for your health.
Yep.
I don't know what medical condition you would need to survive that. I think it only exists in that Japanese fairy tale about the man with it was a bunch of brothers, but one of them had an iron neck because fairy tale reasons.
I remember that. I remember that story. But see, and that's the bullshit that I was saying in the beginning of the video, to where we're focusing on the wrong shit. So I remember Ben Shapiro, and there were some other assholes that got on YouTube and shit like that, talking about it wasn't the choking. It was he had this medical condition, he was on this drug or whatever the fuck.
Who, the cop or George Floyd? Who are they saying?
No,
that-
George Floyd.
They're saying the actual cause of death wasn't the knee. It was this, COVID. He had high blood pressure. I was like, okay, this is just like, if you can see that video that I put out where we're talking about 2 mass murderers and your focus is on where one of the murderers ate Burger King, then fuck you. And that's what I'm saying.
The point of the Burger King is that George Floyd died because someone thought he might have had a $20 bill that wasn't authentic.
Right. And
this motherfucker shoots a bunch of people at church and gets to, not only is free and like gets Burger King. I love a Whopper when I have one, but fucking hell.
But it's the focus. It's the focus. It's if you saw my 2-minute video and your only response was, where did some asshole eat Burger King? Then fuck you. Just like we're talking about down here with Gary. If you're talking about all the other medical issues that could have caused George Floyd's death, then fuck you. That means, we lost E. I want E back. But
she'll come back. Don't worry about it. Peter will have it sorted out.
Okay. You're focusing on the wrong shit. It doesn't matter whether George Floyd had asthma, cancer, AIDS. It doesn't matter. If you missed the part to where a grown-ass man put a knee on another man's neck for there she is.
Sorry.
Then fuck you. That's what I'm saying. So we're focusing on the wrong shit. Where a killer?
I gotta grab something. I will be right back. I'm listening.
Go get him. It's just you're focusing on the wrong shit, right? And Gary was talking about it.
I couldn't agree more.
If you're focusing on the wrong shit, then fuck you.
I think part of the problem is that we look to punish people rather than rehabilitate them.
Yep.
Keep talking. I love that.
That's the problem. The problem is with the system.
Yeah.
You know, what is our recidivism rate is 70% or something like that, compared to like Scandinavia where it's like 20%, if maybe.
Yep.
You know, we've clearly failed ourselves.
Big time.
And I mean, I ought to be honest. I think a lot of this comes from like religion, like the whole idea that we need to punish people rather than try and rehabilitate them.
Talk to me.
Because it's more like, hey, let's punish them and leave the healing up to God. I don't know where. I mean, I can see it, man. I can see it. There's this. You see people when they're young, they go into the system. They're never allowed out. They're stuck.
It's a trap because it's a business. That's why.
Yeah.
There were two good points made earlier when Peter said, well, maybe I'm going to confuse who said what, but somebody said that it's systematic. I believe that was Peter, that there's a group of people, Black people, that are being systematically attacked. They are, whether you're talking about from a spiritual or financial, legal, whatever standpoint. They're like racism is very obvious and true in America, and it's systematic. It comes from the top down. And then there was another point which just escaped me now that Robert made. But what it all speaks to is that it is coming from the top down, and the system, the jail, all of that is a big business. And since there's already one targeted group, it's basically non-whites or even, poor white people as well. Anybody in those demographics that are less fortunate, whether it's financially or, their parents were in prison, whatever it is a system. Once you get in there, you become a part of a bigger business. And there's a lot of money to be made off of that demographic. And unfortunately, the majority of that demographic is non-white people, and then people that grew up in bad areas, in ghettos and slums or whatever, the lower class or the lower the inferior complexion people in America. But it's a part of a big, huge business, and that's what jail is, and that's what the police are here to enforce. And because they can easily pick on people in lower class areas or that come from less money or what have you, then exactly. And they get away with it. They get away with it because nobody's out looking out for those people. Oh, well, they didn't contribute anything. They don't pay taxes. They're on welfare, blah, 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 whatever. So they're easy targets.
If you made it possible for them to thrive, maybe they could have money to pay taxes and also eat food. Just a thought. Exactly. Just a crazy thought.
Can we have the two ladies on the next fucking show? Because this is... No, I'm serious. I'm serious. This is...
Preach.
It's like medicine in America. Medicine and prison, they're for-profit organizations.
They should. I was actually, babe, right? I was just going to say that. Prison is one of several things, including medicine, which should never be for profit.
Never. And
iPads should be for profit.
About, and this has happened twice. There's a pharmacy literally walking distance from my house. Now, I'm fortunate. I've got insurance. I've got a couple bucks in the bank. So either way, I'm going to be okay. And I've been there in line while the ladies, it was two ladies in this instance, and it was diabetes medicine on both instances. And they both had to sit there, and there was a glitch in the insurance or whatever the fuck it was. And I still remember it was like $700+ worth of debacle. And the pharmacist had to sit there and talk this lady through, okay, you really need this one. You can kind of not do it this one. You really need this. That was so, and everyone that was sitting there in line, we were crying because it's a for-profit. If you have money, you can live. If you don't have money, you're going to die. That is fucked up on a measure that I can't.
And that's one of the things I told you about living in Canada, where there are systems. If you don't have enough money to pay for your medication, you can still get necessary medication.
But but it's not even just hold on, where are you? Are you on this side or this side?
Yeah.
I'm pointing at you. But it's the same as prison, is what he's talking about. It's a for-profit system. And what's today? When I trained someone yesterday, and I told this person, there's a documentary.
A killer, right? That used to kill people.
Yeah.
And so a medication that's a blood pressure medication. Yes, there's a lot of profit there because it affects millions and millions and millions of Americans, and it's also a thing worldwide. So often what pharmaceutical companies will do.
But they're also, one, hire real scientists, so that helps. But also some of them have been willing to
face in the White House.
Yeah, you're right. Here, have this stone or this water that's been filled with the vibrations.
Conway failed
sympathetic gems.
Water that's been filled with the vibrations.
Guys,
it's just like
I saw that. I swear to Hitchens. I was helping this couple I knew. They pulled these saunas, ceramic saunas, whatever, with the heating element was ceramic.
I mean, maybe it feels really nice.
Yeah.
No. Well, no. Saunas, having your own home sauna is a nice idea. It's very honestly
maybe
European.
You play some Barry White and it's a party. I don't know.
Exactly. Sauna turns into a hot tub.
Guys, hold on. We're back.
Hold on. Wait, Peter.
We're back on air.
Okay.
We're back on air.
The point is they were
on air.
good.
We're on air.
Yeah, hi people.
Yay.
But let me finish my story. They were selling these home like saunas at a fair that had a lot of new age shit at it. And so I was kind of helping them out. And then I went around, near the end to look at the stuff when they didn't really need me there. And I swear to Hitch, I saw water that in the ingredients label, and I looked at the ingredients label, it was, water, maybe some drops of an essential oil.
Yeah.
The vibrations of sympathetic gemstones and the incantation of the Archangel Michael.
I used to be heavily
That was
religious.
the ingredients.
I used to be heavily religious, and I
know,
had,
but they incanted. There were different archangels and different gemstone combinations that they had apparently vibrated and incanted into this water that they were then selling.
Right.
Is there any
ingredients?
That's true.
Mel, is there any like kind of placebo with that, with people who are really into, because I got into new age crap and then got right back out of it. But is there any placebo effect from that stuff, like crystals and those types of things that affect people sort of the way sugar pills do, the way they say that those things have placebo effect?
Oh, absolutely. If people believe that they're being cured, some have mild alleviation of symptoms, but it's always temporary.
Yeah.
It's always temporary. They always come back, but they're like, well, this tried. Maybe I need to do this super more awesomeness, like really, really, really concentrate on this crystal. Maybe I'll rub it on my forehead with, extraness. And because,
you could charge it with other crystal, with a wand made of other crystals that's been empowered by
extra crystals. Put it in your bathtub and, say your favorite poem backwards. And maybe
it's all like that. It's all like that. It's so like that.
I mean, but that's what that is. It's and there's nothing wrong with trying to feel better, but it's important to recognize that does. Yeah. I mean, in meditation,
it's a placebo. And if you like,
and that's okay. I have crippling anxiety. So it's like, I'll sit here and meditate, but that doesn't mean the anxiety is cured. That means I've quelled it for a little bit. It's probably going to come back.
Right. It's a management technique. Yeah.
It's a management technique. So
meditation, I agree. Meditation does help manage it. And I thought because I was doing meditations morning and nights that my anxiety had calmed down so much, but I missed like a few days and that shit came right back. I was like, oh, maybe it didn't heal anything.
No.
So that makes tons of sense.
Can I ask a question? Sure. For the Americans in the room, like, what is your standard price on, let's say, drugs, for example? I also to live because she's in Canada, because I don't know how the pricing works in the two different countries. You see, because I know I work in my country, I can tell you how that works in a minute. But it's a different price for different drugs, and stuff like that. Because I mean, from what I understand, it's like depending on what the condition is, depends on what the markup on the drug is. So
it depends on what the drug is, honestly, in the US, and it depends on the type of insurance you have. So pretty much US is run on privatized insurance. So if you have a job, your company will pay a certain amount of insurance, and how good the insurance is based on what they've decided to buy. So lots of companies will have insurance, but it's shit. Okay. So you can't have certain medications, because if they're brand new medications, what happens is with pharmaceutical companies, here's the bad side to all that because of capitalism. Pharmaceutical companies will spend billions of dollars, well, maybe not billions, millions and millions of dollars on research trying to generate a drug, but they're also allowed to advertise. So they can advertise in TV, movies, magazines, internet. And so that's part of the budget as well. So in order to recoup all of that cost for development of the drug, in addition to the billions of dollars they spend in advertising, a brand new drug out on the market is going to be easily $500, $600, depending on your insurance. Even then, Jesus. It's ridiculously high. But after about 10 years, the initial patent wears off, and then other companies can make generic versions of that. So the chemical formula is released. People are able to go, okay, that's where the organic synthesis chemists come into play. They're like, oh, well, this is the shape of the molecule. This is how we make a molecule just like this in our lab. But it's always a little bit different. But usually the drug acts similarly to where it's only like $10 or something like that.
So if, let's say, for example, you have a prescription, let's say, for example, you're diabetic, is let's say, for example, insulin, is that a flat price, or is it depending on what kind of insulin you get, or is it something like that? Because
it depends on what kind of insulin you get, and it depends on which company is running it at the time. There's not a whole lot in the way of legislation on caps on particular drugs. So that one jerk who went to prison for his
Martin Scarelli. Yep.
Scarelli.
Oh, that piece of shit.
He was a piece of shit.
He was terrible. He
is a piece of shit.
Yeah, he is. He bought the particular company that was manufacturing a medication that people with compromised immune systems take, which means not just HIV, but also cancer patients, people with autoimmune diseases, things like that. They needed this particular medication in order to, live. So he
People
hiked
like
the
him
price.
are the reason for Eat the Rich. They were the reason for the French Revolution. They were the reason why the average French person was like, yeah, cut their heads off. I don't care. Because fuck that guy.
Did you ever see
Seriously.
he did an interview. Did you ever see his interview about, because he took the drug, and I don't remember the price exactly.
It was like around $100 a
Jacked
pill.
it up.
Right, but then he
Hell.
jacked that shit up like 700%.
Yeah,
And
it's
I remember-
ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
It used to be like $2 a pill.
Right. And he did an interview to where he said something to the effect of, if you have pretty much a Tesla, but you're selling it at Yugo prices, basically you're getting fucked. So he increased the prices simply so he can make a profit. He compared helping people live to selling a luxury car. And I'll never forget that interview, because he literally said, why sell a Yugo at Tesla priceless? And you're like, you know what? Fuck you for saying that, because there's people that I saw, like I said, at the pharmacy down the street, where they had to make the choice on which life-saving medication they could afford. And it's great because that lady's going to go home and die that night, while this fucker is going to go home and go stack, Benjamins. You're like, you know what? Fuck you. Because to you, it's selling a car. For this lady, it was, can I control my blood sugar? Because I don't want to die tonight.
Right.
And I stay alive.
Yeah.
Was that George guy, this George guy you guys are speaking of, is he a doctor?
No.
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 He's just a rich asshole.
He was a hedge fund baby. He made
he
millions off
He
of
bought it.
Yeah. He has no medical training at all whatsoever. All he knows to do
He just
is to
bought
stack
the
Benjamin.
company.
Here's the
He's just
problem.
a rich asshole who doesn't care who he kills as long as he gets more money.
What's that, Mel?
Well, here's the problem. If you kill off everybody who needs the drug, then you don't make money anymore.
That's true. That's true. Okay.
Thank you. Satanic panic.
You know what, Peter?
Backwards.
The next
the
show,
psychological kill
can we
yourself.
just shut
No,
the
then they
fuck
don't
up?
buy albums.
And let the ladies talk, because this is where the information is apparently. So I say the three ladies,
There is a reason.
just crank them out,
So
and we'll just be in the side chat and say fuck it.
I need
that
to
would
make
be
new
the shit I've heard all
artwork and for what gonna go for it, ladies' night, something like that.
Ladies' night.
Hey, there you go, ladies' night.
There is
I
a
have a
reason
question for
why I
scientists now.
said
Because I've been online since 2:45. It's 6:30 my time, and the most logical shit I've heard is in the last 10 fucking minutes.
That's
So I say we have a ladies'
hold
night,
on. No,
and just let them run it. I'll
No.
sit in the side chat and shut the fuck up.
No, I'm not going to have that. I've heard enough logical shit in the show that went before this one. So, no, not going
this is
to have
why
that.
women do crazy shit. It's the only way you'll give us fucking money.
Jesus.
So scientist Mel, would it be accurate then from a scientist, because you're a scientist obviously, so would it be accurate to say that it's not the pharmaceuticals who are the big pharma that creates the problems, but the doctors who abuse the prescribing the drugs and keeping
That's one
it for
aspect.
That's part
That's
of it.
one aspect.
Okay.
The other aspect. So back in the
It's a
80s,
little-
this
it's
is where a lot of
complicated.
the
Yeah.
expensive drug stuff came from. Reagan, if you lived during that time, you notice that was the age of the infomercial. The infomercial showed up in the 80s. That's because it was not it wasn't legal to have commercials last for long periods of time. Part of that legislation was also including drug companies to be able to advertise their drugs. And so once they opened that door, now drug companies have a new expense, the ability to market to everybody. even list side effects include bleeding out your eyeballs, anal leakage, vomiting from your nose. As long as they put that all in
Random
there.
explosions and the apocalypse
explosive
on,
diarrhea might occur.
0.01% of
Your
cases.
heart might come out of your mouth.
Something like, look, does it we in Canada? Does it like you have to pay different prices for different drugs you use, even if you're on prescription?
Oh,
Yes.
yes. Ours is a little closer to America's. I understand. Actually, I wanted to clarify this with you, Gary. As I understand it, in the United Kingdom, there are just like basically a couple of brackets where you pay X or you pay Y, and that's it. Is that accurate?
I'll explain how it works. So basically, if you're under 65, if you're under 18, if you have a underlying condition, so let's say if you're diabetic or you have AIDS or cancer, it's free. It's free.
Yeah,
all the drugs you want
Right.
are free. Okay. If it's not, you have to pay one price, which is £9. How much is it? I was just looking it up for you. £9.15. So that is, I'm trying to do that in American money. That's about what, about $11,
$1.5
$12?
$20.
About $20,
About
yeah.
15.
So you pay that for a prescription charge. So that's your prescription charge. So if you're a working adult, or actually even if you're not working, so if you claim benefits, you don't have to pay it either. So again, there's a lot of reasons you don't have to pay it. So like my sister's a diabetic, she doesn't have to pay anything because it's an underlying condition, so she doesn't have to pay anything.
Yeah, they don't have that here in the U.S. With the American Care Act, like with the Affordable Care Act that we passed, people do have access now to health care, and they can pick which package is affordable to them. But if you have a job, your job provides your health care. Like I pay probably $400 or $500 a month just in premiums for my health care. And then I still have copays. And then I still have like co-insurance that I have to pay.
Kidding me?
No, I'm not. It's like $400 or $500 a month.
Damn.
But I get to pick my doctors.
People.
So you either go with, you have this amount of doctors to choose
Why
from.
is that a privilege?
I know. And so
Jesus Christ.
And then so where I work, they pay for the other half of that. So they put in a certain amount of money, and then I pay like $400 or $500 a month, somewhere around that. I still have co-pays when I go in, and then I still have to pay for my prescriptions, and then I have co-insurance. So I have a deductible of like $2,000. So once I pay $2,000, then they start paying for all of it. So, and I have really good insurance.
2,000.
Okay, I have to say this real fast, Mel. Before I got to go take my pills, and it's going to turn my brain to meatloaf. So I got to sign off. But my boss, even through COVID, has kept our insurance. What you're paying per month is robbery. If I told you what I paid per month for my portion of health insurance, because I've told people before, just my mental health pills, like Depakote, without insurance, Depakote is over $500 a month. That doesn't count lithium, Seroquel, which I have to go take, or the gabapentin. That doesn't include my high blood pressure meds, my kidney medication. If I had to pay for my health, I would be fucking homeless. And it does not cost me what you paid.
That's just in premiums. I
Oh
take
my
Zoloft.
God.
So I take like a generic version of Zoloft with the sertraline. That's the chemical formula. Sertraline.
Okay.
I'm like $3.
Okay. I have some leftovers you can have.
I'm not a scientist. All I know is what I see and what it is I experience. And when I see a lady in front of me who can't afford diabetes medicine, that lady goes home and fucking dies. You're paying a car payment per month to live. There's something wrong with that. Again, just my Depakote If I paid out of pocket for just my bipolar medication, I would be over $1,500
Jeez.
a month. That's not even my fucking mortgage payment. I don't have a car payment, and fuck me. I'm going to go sign off.
Okay.
I'm more mad about this conversation than I was the racial conversation. You charging people that kind of money is like charging people for oxygen.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
You don't have
that
that
makes it
insurance
worse.
now. You're being
top
fucked
dollar
over.
for fucking
But-
money.
It's you're paying for a discount. That's what health insurance is. You're paying for a discount. That's
And not in civilized countries, it's not.
right.
I'm sorry. Hey, one more thing. Paying for a discount is
I know.
like a mob boss. That's like saying, if you pay me $20 a week, I won't ruin your mom and pop shop. That's what
Right.
that sounds like to me. And it's
That's
like,
why we need a
Monopoly
national
can
health care
refuse.
system.
right, it's like, aren't I nice to you? I'm not burning your fucking mom and pop stand down. Keep paying me money.
That doesn't even include the cancer. If
Exactly.
you get cancer, there's like a
Paying for-
cap.
You
can't,
don't pay
right.
for a discount. You
It's,
don't
but that's what
pay.
insurance is. You pay
Exactly.
for a
And what is-
discount.
Again,
No, that's
if I made E pay me $60 a month not to go to her house and kick the fuck out of her, I would be just as corrupt as the insurance company that says you're going to pay me for a discount. That's
I mean,
all I hear. That's fucked
That's
up.
insurance.
So what is the
Okay.
root of that? What is the root of that, Mel? Do you think, like, from the perspective of a science, does that have to do with politics, like the politics of it, or the business of it? What is the root of the problem with
It's
America
all of
and
that.
healthcare?
Money.
It's all of that because you have a lot of lobbyists from the different insurance.
That's what I
companies.
thought. Yeah.
And a lot of
That's
when
what
you
I
look
said.
at these huge bills from doctors, they have to bill that high because the insurance companies will cut them so low that they can't make a living unless they say this is what I normally bill. And so when you look at hospitals and you look at primary care physicians and you look at all this, they have to charge super high because if they don't, the insurance companies will be like,
it's like
oh, they'll cut it like 50-60% off because they're part of their network. And so in order for them to make a living, if you don't have insurance, you will go bankrupt because they cannot just charge you if you had insurance because they're not allowed to do that.
This is not okay.
That's
One
one
that's
of the
why they're
documentaries. One of the documentaries I saw about health insurance, they had this thing that I believe this is in Germany. I'll have to trust my memory. Feel free to double check me. But they have a law because they don't have the, sort of standard government insurance. They have private insurance. But the law is that the private insurance cannot make a profit. Everybody can be paid. Everybody can be paid. But the company cannot make a profit. And if it makes a profit this year, that has to go into a discount of premiums for everyone next year.
And the other thing to consider,
That-
particularly with like COVID-19 in the US, people aren't thinking this through with the mask wearing and all of that. Think about, okay,
Oh,
you get in a car accident, you go to the hospital. If all of it's overrun with COVID-19, you're going to look at an increase in car insurance rates. You're going to look at an increase
Everything.
across the
You make
board
your money
because you're going
anywhere.
to have more fatalities because
Well,
people won't have access to
There's
beds.
this very childish attitude in America. It's
Yes.
very childish. There's this childish, and it's honestly, it's a very conservative attitude in adults. You see it in Republicans, you see it in Tories, conservatives all over the world. You can't tell me what to do. You're not my mommy. You're not my mommy. You can't tell me what to do.
Well, I
I'll
personally
hold my
think.
breath.
Well, I personally think this whole COVID
That is a
shit,
conservative.
I think all this whole COVID stuff is overblown, because if it was as important as they say, if it was as bad as they say, why is it that every single Tory footwear in my government is going out and doing something? So they're either going to somebody's house, or they're going with each other, or they're going to someone else, and they can't seem to
Because
provide
they're idiots
consistent.
and they're going to die.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
these are people who run the country. These aren't just like people.
I agree with that. That is something to think about.
Gary,
So like
Gary, there's a reason why cases are spiking in the UK. There's also a reason why cases are going down where I live, and that's because we take the appropriate measurements and we do what is needed. And as of
You'll
now,
notice that the spike
Texas is spiking.
yeah, as of now, it's not going well in the U.S.
with conservative politicians doing stupid shit.
It's not going well in the UK, and innocent people are going to suffer because of it. And that's
Because of not wearing
Everywhere
masks.
conservative
That's what
power is.
no. What's happened is that there's been there's been really stupid mismessaging. So basically, what it is that there's this guy who's basically he's not even connected to the government.
Yeah,
Basically, what it
Gary.
is, he's basically Carl Rove to Boris Johnson. What he did, he travelled from London
I
to
remember that.
Barnard Castle, which is about 40 miles or something like that.
For his children, Gary.
Yeah,
He couldn't
yeah.
find anybody in London, so he had to drive that far, spraying this COVID juice everywhere.
Yeah, so that's annoyed a lot of people. So a lot of people, what people been doing, especially where I've been living, is having secret house parties. Because I live in the northwest, which has been one of the big spikes in the northwest. So there's been secret house
Gee, I
parties
wonder why.
because there's not been consistent messaging. So Boris Johnson in the same week said that we should go out and eat stuff from our restaurants and give us low VAT food, but also said we should all be careful and do it with restricted numbers. So which one is it? It can't be both. And that we should use pubs to make sure that the businesses go up, but we should also be careful while we do it. It's sort of like this inconsistent
like a bunch of
message.
drunk. Okay, I've been to London many times. You get a bunch of drunk Brits in a pub, they are not going to socially distance or wear a mask. In
Nope.
any capacity.
It's no different here in Texas.
Who's going to make certain she gets on the tube?
No. Same thing here in Texas. Same thing. Hey, gang, real fast.
God, I love living in Canada.
You guys are fantastic.
Robert.
I'm past due. I got to go take my pills.
Okay, Robert.
I got to get. Yes.
Just one quick thing, and I do want to do a shout out. We had Kelvin Morrison in the side chat, aka Amadeus Almighty.
Yeah.
And he said
Amadeus!
if we're going to do another thing, and I take it he meant on the same topic that he wants to participate. I think that's a great idea.
I would love to have Amadeus on that show.
That's awesome.
That is someone who I like.
He's also
yes,
black.
I
That
would
would be
love to
intriguing.
have him.
And
I'll hit him on DM.
And
yes,
we have to do an entire show just with him also. Because
I'm okay with that. Fuck
He's
yeah.
a cool guy.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So
He's a cool guy.
just wanted to say that before you left because I'm really excited that he was here and
my man.
We need to get him on the channel.
I couldn't agree more. Everybody, y'all are fucking fantastic. I'm so bad at this portion. So I think everything's just backwards. So the S portion of the Saints flag, Lilith, I think that's you over there. Hit me up while the internet's still going.
babe.
All right, hold on. Gary, I respect the fuck out of you. You're good to go. And hold on. Fuck me. Mel,
Erica.
I am
That's
so
Mel.
glad. Oh, am I pointing at E? Hold on.
No, that was Mel.
No, you were pointing at Mel. You're doing it right.
All
You're doing
right,
it right.
Hold on. Mel, goddamn, I'm glad to get to know you better.
Put your
And hold
hands
on.
down. We know our name.
Where's E? E, is that, am I pointing at E
That's
right
me.
now?
Yep.
All right, E, you're all right in my book. Really, I said some shit about you yesterday about the show that we did, and I can't lie. That dumpster fire of an interview, I'm going to say this just one more time. The fact that you got something positive out of it,
Yeah.
Very positive.
touched me. So I'm saying thank you to you for watching what I'm going to call the worst YouTube experience I've ever had since I've been on social media. So
well, it helped me, so it wasn't the worst.
That is all that fucking matters, because that guy was a piece of shit, and I would push
He's a
him
turd.
in front of a train if I could, but it's currently illegal. But the fact that you got something good out of it makes it worth it. So everybody,
what did I miss?
What's that?
What did I miss?
I'll tell you what you missed real fast in 5 seconds. So let's say me and Peter decided, hey, we're going to have a picnic. It's going to be great. We're going to have sandwiches and lemonade. It's going to be vibrant. It's going to be great. And then someone comes in and says, hey, I want to join your picnic. We're like, why don't you join our picnic? This is going to be great. And that person pulls their pants down and takes a massive shit on our sandwiches. That's what that interview was like, because we've had...
It was a rape apologist.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes. This is the person who's pretty much said, when me and Peter, who have experiences with people who have been violated sexually, when we were saying it's wrong, what made the train hit the when this person said, what if she had too much to drink? His quote was, what if she got blackout drunk? And at that point, both me and Peter lost it.
Yeah.
I said, it doesn't matter if she got drunk. You don't touch someone who doesn't want to be touched. And then I saw a video that this fuckface did, who said God gave him the inspiration to ask that question, because I admit I got sloppy in a definition.
Every time that anyone has ever treated you like shit for being a Christian, this guy is the reason.
Right. And I got sloppy in a definition.
Entirely justifiably the reason.
And I pretty much said, if you drink, don't fuck her. It's pretty much what I said. And then he spent the rest of the interview saying, well, if you ever had a drink with a girl and you had sex with her, you raped her. And then he called me for the next 30 minutes a self-admitted rapist. And it was a dumpster fire of an interview.
And I need to add.
The only reason why it's positive is because he got something out of it.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, I wouldn't push him into moving traffic. I would stab that fucker in the kidney with a rusty butter knife, because he made...
I would run him over with a big truck.
For rapists.
One of those ones with the big grills.
I have to, Robert, I have to add to this.
I said it.
I have to add to this. This was the first show Robert and I did.
Yes.
So for us, it was basically trying to see what kind of chemistry we had, whether or not.
Right.
So everything was new. And this guy,
apologists,
this guy not only managed within a couple of minutes to find our soft spot, but then pushed all the buttons needed.
Right. We will never go through that again, Peter.
No.
We know now to shut that fucker down.
We learned from that show. We learned from that show. And I agree with you. The fact that Erica got something out of it is the best thing ever, and that makes it okay.
Yep.
We weren't proud. We weren't proud. No,
I got to meet E, and that's all that fucking matters. That's
the only thing.
Made that shit show worth it.
Yeah, the only thing that you and I took away from it, we weren't proud of how we handled it. And that's...
But to be fair, that guy is very well practiced in antagonizing and being passive aggressive. So when you deal with a person like that and they get you into a place where you have an emotionally charged conversation, you're just naturally reacting and responding to his ignorance. And that's what he does in all his interviews. He's very well practiced at that.
I won't watch
these
YouTube interviews, but
he's
right. He is absolutely right. He is the Ray Comfort. Because if you ever look at Ray Comfort's videos, it's how to talk to a Muslim, how to talk to an atheist, whatever the fuck it is, and it's the same fuck. He just beat you over the head with the same fucking script.
A part of me wants to call Ken Hovind right now and ask him if he would help me develop a module for sex education for a bunch of high schoolers.
Okay.
Just to troll.
Can we, hold on, real
Please
fast.
do. That would be
I
so
have to
funny.
go.
I would watch the shit
Fine.
out of that.
I think
Okay, I have to go
we
I
have to
a
have
waiting
Kent
dog.
Hovind. I'm done with Christian apologists. I am. It's like talking to a fucking
Except
wall.
the Banana
I-
Man. I will talk to the Banana Man.
Fuck Ray Comfort. I want Kent Hovind, and I will co-host a show with anybody, either Eric or Kent.
Oh!
I would call my YouTube career complete if I could talk to those fuck idiots.
He will
So
answer.
They're idiots.
Robert,
Especially
Robert,
Eric. That
Robert,
crazy.
you know
Yeah.
I have him on speed dial on my phone, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
God
Peter,
damn it.
before the end of this
Okay,
week,
I am
you
gonna
need
go
to make
deal
this
with the
happen.
whining dog. I love you all.
You got it.
I need Ken Hovind. I
You
need
got
Ken
it.
Hovind. I need Ken Hovind. Guys,
Okay.
y'all are the
Hey,
best.
It's not
I'm going to go take my Seroquel.
It's not a PhD.
Bye. It was
All
fun
right.
talking to you. Have a good night. Thanks for sharing all your stories. You're the
Robert,
Of course.
Robert, thanks,
Yes.
thanks for doing the show. I need
thanks for hosting
convey. Randolph Richardson said was a great show. He wants to thank you for doing the show, and I'm looking forward to part 2.
Let's do part 2.
We need to.
Absolutely.
I actually want to do. We've discussed doing a show on domestic abuse with the two of us, and
As you see,
and
Lilith,
I think Erica. Anyway,
everything's ready. So you make the call, and I'll host the show. It's that easy.
Solid.
we'll find a time. It'll be great. All right.
Let's make
I love
it
you
happen.
all. I'm sorry.
All right.
I really
Lilith,
I
call me
have
later.
very loud.
Me, Gary,
Mwah.
Peter, everybody, y'all are the best. I'm going to take my crazy people pills, and I'm going to start talking some bullshit.
Okay.
Y'all are the best. Talk to y'all later.
Catch you later.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.
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 Okay. So now I need to move people around in order.
Okay. I don't think I'm doing evolution hour tonight, so
You don't think you're doing
Oh wait,
it?
Mel, I have a question.
sure. Go for
Okay,
it.
so about the lawsuits, because I want to make sure I'm not repeating anything that's
No,
weird
no, it's
facts.
okay. It's cool. It's cool.
Okay, so with the lawsuits that they're having with what is it? Oh, what is the oxycodone, oxys? With those lawsuits, do you think that it was not Big Pharma's fault, that it was to do with doctors over prescribing,
Yes.
or do you think that it's people not being educated and taking the prescriptions that had side effects that they didn't educate themselves on? Like, where would the fault be in those?
I think it's primarily the fault of the doctor, the prescribing doctor, but also patients need to disclose information for that. I know, particularly if you get government assistance, they're cracking down a lot on individuals. If you're on Medicare or any kind of government-based health program, they look for individuals who go to other doctors trying to get some of those narcotics or
For getting high.
Right.
Yeah, because they want to get
For
high.
drug
Yeah.
Right. So they're cracking down a lot of that on the government side, particularly with that. I think it's largely to do with doctors overprescribing and a little bit of the patients not disclosing fully what's going on. Because at the same time, while a doctor is responsible to know their patient, the patient is also responsible to disclose symptoms, other things that are going on. They only know so much unless they're doing blood tests every time you come in to get a prescription to check and see what your levels are, which isn't always economical for the patient because of insurance. So,
Right. Well,
you
then
know.
there probably also is the element of people who have addictive personalities, or maybe it's not about an addictive personality. I don't know. I'm no expert in the field, but people who do abuse those prescriptions. Because I know, for example, I had some surgeries and they gave me morphine and it totally helped with my pain. I couldn't imagine any other drug working for that specific pain. But I didn't get addicted to it. But I know that there are people who, because it does give you a high, like fixes your pain
Right.
and makes you feel like super elated. So there's probably people also who have to take responsibility, because if you're in a lawsuit, I don't know, but there must be an element where people have to take responsibility for their part in abusing the drug as well.
Right. And so that's, so when you're dealing with like a court of law, what it comes down to, and this is something that I've talked about at length on my channel, as far as law and the court of law and judgments are not the same as scientific evidence. Like glyphosate, the Roundup stuff, it does not cause cancer in every single study that's ever been published. Every single study, and it's regularly monitored. There's a study that's continuously going on that looks at, I think I'm thinking of how many families. It's probably at least 800 families, farming families that they look at that use Roundup, that glyphosate, and there's no incidents of anything related to any kind of medical conditions associated with standard use of it. So when you're in a court of law, you have to convince the jury that the addition of the single thing pushed them over to where they could possibly have developed an addiction or
Oh, that's
cancer, something like
interesting.
that.
I didn't
And
think
so,
of that. Yeah. So Roundup, yeah, that's true, because lawyers also, they're there to win cases.
so
That's very true.
It's weird. And so what I do, like on my channel with science communication, I talk about the studies. Now, it does cause cancer in mice, but you consider the size of mice and the dosage amount. If you eat a substantial amount of sugar, you could get cancer.
Yeah.
If you eat a substantial amount of anything or get exposed to a huge amount of anything, you can get cancer. And so when it's used within the parameters of says, do this, don't drink it, don't pour it on your cereal, don't bathe in it, and you use it according to the directions, you don't get cancer. And so when you're dealing with a court of law, even then, when that first case came out, and I had Nate Brody on my channel to go kind of break it down, because it was really bothering me. Like, everybody's going to think that Roundup causes cancer now because of a court case.
Well, no, I was starting to think that that's true. Yeah.
And, and fair enough, fair enough. I mean, and so that was a fear of mine. So having him on, and he went through and pulled all the court documents. And at the time he was a law professor, and he brought it up in his class. And he's like, even the judge said that the evidence was extremely shaky and very weak. That judge should have never had it brought to trial, because at that point you have two different experts that are experts in the field, both paid, sitting there going, yeah, it could cause cancer if you're in a mouse and you're exposed to a certain amount, blah, blah, blah. So-and-so could have bathed in it one day, and that could have given him cancer. But was he following the directions? So, I mean, when it's used normally, it doesn't do that sort of thing. But that's not what's told in those stories.
Okay, but I mean, like, how much like testing does a product have to go to be like, let's say the whatever, I don't know what the board is that
FDA,
deals with
it's
the
Federal
FDA. Sorry.
Drug Assessment.
Yes. So, how much testing does it have to go through? Does it have to go for like a lengthy process? Does it have to go for a short process?
It goes through a lot of freaking testing. Now, right now, with Donald Trump in charge, and the CDC is actually compromised right now, which is something I did not think I would ever have to say. I would have concerns with anything coming out from the CDC or the FDA, because they've been forced to change guidelines according to how the White House thinks that they should do stuff. And that's a top-down thing. And so thanks, a little bit of shout out to Dr. Fauci. He's still saying, what he needs to say, regardless of any other, modifications. But customarily, the process of the FDA is pretty freaking rigorous. And there's been a study that's been going on, like I mentioned, the 800 some odd families. It's been going on for about 15 years now. And so you're talking about a substantial amount of evidence. There will always be outliers. And the person who won the court case for, I think it's Hodgkin's lymphoma, he had the genetic marker for that particular cancer. And so all of the plaintiff had to do, all that lawyer had to do was convince the jury that the addition, not even that it caused it, just the addition of Roundup
Triggered it.
was enough to trigger his cancer. That's all that it was, even though he actually had the genetic marker for that cancer. And people who have that genetic marker tend to develop that cancer, whether they're eating Snickers bars or using Roundup. So it's just kind of, but see, again, the public sees that and they're like, oh my gosh, Roundup causes cancer. And fair enough, that's what the media does. They perpetuate that type of thing. So I spend a lot of time talking about, well, this is what the science says. Scientific evidence is not the same as a courtroom or a judgment in a courtroom case.
Yeah, good point. That's a super good point.
I mean, what I wanted to know is like how has being removed from the Who affected you? Because I mean that's going to be a big effect on any sort of like medical thing coming out of America, because the Who is.
It makes me nuts. It makes me absolutely nuts. You know, so I'm a budding chemistry professor. So I teach college chemistry. My background is in breast cancer research, as well as computational chemistry, dealing with receptors and stuff like that. I've worked in drug delivery systems. I worked on the Tree of Life project, genetics. So it's like I have this huge background of science stuff in addition to teaching public schools. I was a public school teacher for a while. And so it's like I've seen quite a lot of stuff. And for the U.S. to go the way that it has, we already have a scientific literacy crisis, and it's getting worse. It's not getting better. We've been pretty stagnant for about 20 years. About 20 years, we've been pretty stagnant. Then we're dropping in our literacy. We're getting worse. 27% of Americans think the sun revolves around the earth. That's more than 1 in 4. So when you go to a bar in the US, more than 1 in 4 people think the earth is the center of the universe. That's a thing. That's a thing. And they don't understand that genetic males control the sex of babies in, traditional cis reproductive sex. They think women control the sex of the babies. Like we're back in Henry VIII world. Let's just kill all the women for not having boys.
Mel, should we comment on a certain English guy who is rocking pajamas, not knowing how to wear a mask?
You're not even wearing a mask properly, Stool. My God.
And he's got a hat on and headphones, and
he's gonna give us the Rona. He's gonna give us the Rona remotely. Oh my God.
Stool. What the hell is going on? What's this look? Loud?
He's mad at me because we did a sing along and he got in trouble with the YouTube.
Yeah, I'm still not talking to you, Scientist Mel, because you got me such a spanking on the ass from YouTube.
Stool does
That's
live
not my
shows,
problem, man.
and 9 out of 10 get took down by YouTube. I wonder why.
Yeah, I'm not taking all the blame for that, man. I'm not doing that. You said you want to do karaoke, and I delivered. You got to take some blame in that. And then you wouldn't let me sing no Howard Jones music either. Shame on you.
Oh, screw you.
I did Missy Elliott and everything, and I can't rap at all. It was comedic at best. It was comedic.
Never ever trust Scientism, Mel.
Yes. So the next show, Mel, that you're going to sing on, I still want to do that duet.
I told you, Stool, he was going to bring this up, didn't I? I told you Peter was going to bring this up.
I'm not going to let that go.
doing the Man of Constant Sorrow hollaback version. I'm not doing it.
Yeah. You do Hollaback Girl, and I do Man of Constant Sorrow. It'll be epic.
I hate bluegrass. I hate bluegrass so much.
But it's not. You're not doing the bluegrass part.
It don't matter. I have to endure it.
Damn.
Bluegrass is an abomination.
Mel, what is your channel called? I need to brush up on my science, literature, and knowledge myself. So I'm
it's just Scientist Mel.
Scientist Mel everywhere. On Twitter, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch, on Periscope, on.
Seriously, do not do it.
And what are some books? Don't do it because why?
She's a dirty cam girl. Don't do it.
Oh, I'm definitely doing it then. So Scientist Mel, Scientist Mel on everything.
Oh, and just
science.
Erica,
nice.
you need to Erica, you need to subscribe every Sunday, or when possible every Sunday. She's got a great show, This Week in BS with Nervardia. That's one you absolutely need to watch.
Okay, I'm gonna
watch this.
Science and humor, and 9 out of 10 times Mel's breaking Nervardia.
Yeah.
What is Nervardia?
Nervardia is
she's Australian.
Is also an Australian scientist.
That's the only thing where the thing doesn't work. It's science and humor, but with an Australian.
It still works. It still works.
Why are Australians not funny? Or they're not scientific?
Mel, when's Karen going to
Australia
get
doesn't
back?
exist. We know this.
You know, I've
the conspiracy.
I've been going back and doing some of my old commercials from when I did my show Oral Audacity with Doc. And so I've been pulling those back in because Nervardia hasn't seen all of those yet. So like this past Sunday, I did my latest sponsor,
the lawyer,
which is totally not real, but it was the law office of butt hurt and wine, and they sue on white fragility because all of the white dudes are like upset because of their oppressive ancestors.
And I get to make cameos as Dr. Geriatric.
Dr. Geriatric, he's another one. Dr. Geriatric, who is going back to the all natural way to do vaccination.
Totally isn't based on my looks. Not at all. Just pure coincidence.
Have you seen Peter's hefty sack?
Who are you breaking with you, What is wrong with it? Stool comes
Peter's
on.
got a very hefty sack.
Stool still doesn't get it. So we're not having Santa Claus this year because of COVID. Santa Claus is canceled. It's going to get canceled in pretty much every town, which is kind of sad because children
I'm gonna find out where Stool lives, and I'm gonna send him a big old bag of dicks. That's what I'm gonna do. A bag of edible dicks. Stool. That's what
Peter is really, really sad because he wants to touch Santa's big, heavy sack.
Stool's just jealous because I got a guy masturbating, then painting his penis gold, and then it shrunk again, and he had to masturbate because it needed to be erect, and then take a picture. No one's ever done that for his show.
Peter.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't brag about that. If somebody's like, "Hey, Mel, I masturbated to your show," I'd be like, "Okay, block."
So, Mel, to be fair,
don't ever watch my show again.
To be fair, sitting there watching, so I didn't see the real action, but I saw him in his kitchen and his girlfriend with the camera. And it's not working. It's not working. Now you damaged the gold paint again. So let me paint it again.
It out in the kitchen. That's like
my phone is losing charge. I might die on you guys. Okay, I'm gonna go subscribe to Scientist Mel. Is it Scientist Mel or SCI?
Yeah,
Scientist, the word, and then MEL. Okay, that's everywhere. And then who is this over? Who's the new sack guy? I want to add you. Where are you at?
At Scientism Mel.
No. Shut up, Stool.
No, yours.
He's so I'll.
And Gary, what is yours, Gary? Oh, you got it all somewhere, Pete?
Yeah,
my phone's gonna die.
I got it. I'll DM you everything.
Okay. Yes, DM me. It was great talking to you guys. It was nice to meet you. Gary, yes, you guys have a good night.
You too.
Okay. Bye,
okay,
Erica.
ciao. Bye. Bye, Peter.
Oh my gosh.
Was that a girl with bosoms?
No.
I couldn't see.
She wasn't. That was not a girl with bosoms. Don't get excited, Stool.
Oh, damn.
And who whips it out in the kitchen, Peter? I'm really concerned about that.
I'm not
particularly
going to.
if they're
I'm
making
not.
bacon.
No. They are on Twitter. I told them I'm not ever going to give out the name, but it was one of the most funny things that I've ever seen. I just said I need a picture, and he said, "Okay, I'll paint mine," and I thought, "You're kidding."
So he took a picture of his penis, painted it, and sent it to you.
To make a video for
really
a certain
golden
other
penis.
YouTuber who is currently in a lawsuit.
Did you see that there's an article for Forbes where they're calling him stupid?
Yes. I couldn't stop laughing. That was probably one of the funniest things that I've read. And the best part is that he actually participated into making the article and then getting slammed on literally everything.
I'm just so glad that's not me.
We're not talking about Steve McRae, are we?
We are.
Do not say that word.
Oh, sorry, Voldemort. Sorry.
No, that's a level he could never reach. He's like,
so the fact
he's like
he probably thought, hey, Forbes is covering me. This is going to be good, and then they put him down as a child who doesn't know how to start up a company and doesn't know what to do, and then perform. How did he put it? It's more entertainment for the YouTube community because there was more on YouTube to find about this case, probably in hours than the channel made in total. Might be right.
Well, something I found quite funny recently was like him saying that he.
If this is going to turn into a conversation,
Stool, shut up. Gary's talking.
Stop talking, Stool.